Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to the Mind War podcast. I'm MP Strydom, your host as always. And today I have another guest for you who you will find really interesting, I'm sure. And I'm so sure because I find him very interesting. I met Felipe a few years ago, Felipe de Brito Pereira. You've got to help me out if I murdered your name, please, Felipe. But he is the vice president of operations for Cuiabá operations, which is part of the AngloGold Ashanti complex in Minas Gerais in Brazil, near Belo Horizonte, which is also where I met you the first time, I think 2 or 3 years ago. Felipe, was that right?
Almost 4, yeah.
Was it 4 years ago? Thereabouts, yes. Felipe, welcome to the Mind War podcast.
Yeah, thank you, MP. Thank you, all of the people that are hearing us around the world. It's a pleasure to share, to learn with you at that slot time that we have. Thank you.
Yes. So the mine that you are VP of operations for is one of the company's most technically advanced underground mines, gold operation, of course, and it's also one of the mines that are not afraid of testing new things and testing new technologies. How does Cuiabá fit into the AngloGold Ashanti portfolio? Maybe a little bit about that, and then I'll ask you some personal questions about you and how you got into the role where you are right now. But maybe just a bit of background about the mine, please, Felipe.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's a huge pleasure to share about AngloGold operation and mainly for Cuiabá operations. Cuiabá, in fact, it started more than 100 years ago with the surface operations with small quantity and so on. But currently, we have the deepest underground mine in Brazil. We are running 1.7 kilometers deep, numbers, and it kind of depth generate for us in an underground space some challenge that we must overcome it to try to keep cash cost and the safety all of in the high level of quality. So because of that domain, we are working hard to guarantee that we are using and having the technology necessary to keep that space in a very healthy way. So in the end, we are moving since the beginning of the 20s, some journey in technology that are helping us in promote very good control in the mining space. Besides, we still know that we have a long way to go because technology is something that changes every day. But we have the clarity that we should, before move to next technology steps, we should integrate and use more what we have, because if not, you never stop buying, and buy its money. So we must be profitable every year, every month. So we are balancing everything that we have. Yeah. But this is the general and quite important. And just to conclude it, sorry, but Cuiabá mine is a very important operation for the group. We are considered one of the tier one operations, and not just because of the production itself, but also because of the capability of the ore body that we have. So it's quite a unique ore body in terms of gold in Brazil and maybe in the world.
You have recently changed your mining method, haven't you?
Yeah, we have changed it 9 years ago, but also a journey is not just one action that you take 1 month and then you solve the mining method. So we were actually we started in 2015 2010. We were 100% cut and fill, and since 2010, with a lot of expert in sub-level stoping that we have had at that time, we made a transition with 4 years to sub-level stoping, with some variations. We have tried a VOCA methodology, we have tried rock fill, top down, bottom up. So we do have some variations, but in the end, currently, we are using 100% of sub-level stoping in all of the mine.
Mm.
So it's quite a powerful and safe methods that we are using at the time.
Mm.
And of course, we are still looking for new variations for the long term as our
Mm.
body, the inclination change every capability and also the width that we have. So it's a mining design that we are every time thinking on it. So we do have a good technical team to support on that future thinkings as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
You are an engineer of background, and you seem to have a very keen understanding not only of the technical side of mining, but certainly also of, you know, bringing new kinds of technology, whether that is core mining technology, or digital technologies and so on, to an operation. So I want to ask you a little bit about your background. How did your career develop to A, bring you to the position that you are now, and B, I always find it interesting when people in deep operational roles have such a good grasp on digital solutions as well. So tell us a little bit more about that background.
Yeah, I think that I the first influence that I have had, it started where and when I was born, because I was born in a city that have
Mm.
had the deepest mine in the world in the 90s. So
Okay.
Nova Lima, it's a small town nearby the capital of my state. So we have had one, we still have, but a closed mine that
Mm.
the domain belongs to AGA also, that it
Okay.
was 2,000 meters deep. And my father worked there. So
Okay.
he developed his path in a mining industry, mainly in an explosive industry. So since my
Oh,
child,
right.
uh, I, s- I were looking some books on it just as curiosity, and that kind of small seeds along the way helped me in generate some curiosity and some enthusiastic on that topic. And
Mm.
then connecting with some analytics capability that I consider that I do prefer to have it instead of other kind of strengths. I
Mm-hmm.
mixed it to an engineer, a mine engineer background, and
Mm.
then it started like that. And then since I started to work definitely after my graduation at AGA, it was my first employer after my
Mm.
graduation. So I have been working for AGA since 2011, and
Wow.
then I could have had that support from the company and also from my family to have that journey in the mining in a very technical way.
Mm.
And as I do like that kind of discussion, every time I'm trying to study and trying to learn new ways to do something.
Mm.
So
Mm.
I do consider myself as a mining enthusiast, far away to be an expert, but I do like to learn and to understand how the work can be done in a
Yeah.
different minings around the world, in different from different companies, and because there is many ways to do the same product, you know. So yeah, in the end, those environmental help me in get to the
Mm.
mining here. And later on, I have done one master in underground geotechnical science and also in asset integrity.
Mm-hmm.
But more, and then I start to move more to management. And after
Okay.
that first MBA in asset management, I have done another executive MBA. So more in a leadership behavior and leadership techniques, if I can say. So
Mm.
yeah, so this is the technical path that I have had since my beginnings. But I do consider that the beginning of the seeds on my head, it was what is more important because I could
Mm.
pursue one path that I'm on
Mm.
that, you know.
Mm.
So yeah.
Mm. I like when you say that you're a mining enthusiast. Now, I would completely disagree that you're not an expert.
Yeah,
Certainly, you know. But I actually think of myself that way, too. I remember I started developing software for mines now about 25 years ago, and giving away my age here, but anyway, the interesting thing was I remember my boss then at that time. One day he called all of our software developers into a boardroom, and he said to us, "I want you all to stop thinking of yourself as software developers and start thinking of yourselves as mining enthusiasts." And I thought to myself, what are you talking about? I am a software developer. And later on, I really developed the same kind of fascination with what's going on in mining. It is a really interesting, dynamic world. And I think one that is very much underappreciated from what it contributes to the development of technology and the development of methodology. I mean, you're working with huge companies that have to integrate massive capital projects and bring thousands of people along through lots of changes and so on. So I want to go into that direction a little bit, especially given the role that you're in, and ask you firstly, you are in your position, you have to lead people through lots of change. All right. And now you've got lots and lots of technology vendors who are telling you about, look at this fancy tool and that wonderful system and this wonderful process change and so on. And you have to make that decision, of what to adopt and what to uh, put away for a later date. How do you go about that? How do you think about the dimension of change and the ability of the company to adopt change that technology brings and not let the fancy lights overwhelm the decision?
yeah, it's quite important question, and mainly because when you look in operation, we will found many opportunities in the chain.
Mm,
But if you do not have a strategy where you want to be in the next 3 years at least,
mm,
you cannot get your focus in place.
mm,
So as soon as you get your focus, you can start to thrive which kind of technology can fit on it.
mm,
Because if not, the list of softwares or even technology can be more than the database of your computer.
mm,
So we should focus first in what we need as a mine or as a company or as a strategy in the pathway that we have. And later on we start to try to fit for the challenge that you want to overpass, which kind of thinking or approach you can have despite
mm,
any supplier. You should
mm,
think in what do you need to do, and
mm,
later on you start to look to the potential suppliers or potential technologies in place
mm,
to get on it, because we cannot do oversight, or if you can say a reverse strategy. Look to the technology and then solve your problem, because
yeah.
sometimes you know if it want to fit for your issue. So
Mm,
we should have very clarity, very analytics in the issue, in the root
mm,
cause of the point that we want to go. And
mm,
after it, we start to look for how can we do that. And after the how, we start to look for what kind of solution or which kind of solution can we use to solve it.
mm,
So I think that is better to spend time or invest time in the thinking, in the analytics, on this in the strategy, instead of just spend time on the solution, because sometimes the solution does not fit to the
mm.
root cause. So this is the
Yeah.
way that we had to push. Yeah.
And when it comes to the team that actually does the thinking on your side and then the implementation projects and so on, um, there is always, it seems, this tension between, do I take people from operations to do a technology project, because they know the operational problem domain well, even though they might not be technology experts? Or do I go the other way around? What is your experience? What is the ideal makeup of a team that brings, say, for example, a short interval control solution to
Mm.
a mine? What's the best makeup of that team?
Yeah, I, from my experience on that space,
Mm,
I consider that the first step is to have an integrated team that
mm,
trusts in the step change that we must do.
mm,
Because if that pack of people or that team, they are not driving the future, they are not looking for the next step as where we want to be and the place that we're going to be, they're not going to convince any supplier or anyone around to integrate with them that movement.
mm,
So this is
mm,
for me is the first step. And after that, as you said, we are not software expert.
mm,
So we should get the right partnership together on it. It can be hubs, it can be
mm,
university, it can be suppliers that are seeking to try some technologies, to use some technology. Because the
mm,
best lab that we have in a controlled way for some low risk activities as short interval control, we
mm,
can try, we can test it together. We can make the trial in a safe environment.
mm,
So, as I said, the mine can be a good lab for it.
mm.
So we
Yeah.
have done that pathway. We are doing that pathway in a control tower.
Mm,
We start that pathway in 2019, 2020. We
mm,
have ramp it up in a very good space currently, but
mm,
now we still can see some place to go
mm,
because
mm,
we are not integrating the pack of technology or the pack of solutions that we currently have or the pack of information that we are collecting. So how
yeah.
can we merge and take out better or smarter solutions to the short interval control? So it's still a pathway to go, and we understand that as we solve it, for example, we're going to get high value for the strategy that we are operating here.
Yeah. So you talked about lots of interesting opportunities for questions here, but about the integration, and certainly that's something that we need to talk about. But I also remember when I visited you on the mine, you were quite um, adamant about this partnership discussion that you just had here. The try before you buy model. And then implement it here. Let us test things together, and then we can see how best to approach the project and so on. In your experience, those kinds of approaches, of course, they de-risk things a little bit, but they might also stretch things out and add a lot of time and effort and so on to a project. Do you find that proof of technologies or proof of outcome projects like that are successful? Does it work well for you?
Yeah, it can work. It can work, and I think that if we have that collaboration between one operation and also one supply, it can uh, promote us to have more comfortable or more reliability that the solution can work, because we are not talking about something that have been working
Mm,
for a century in the industry. We are
mm,
trying to use some new approach or new technology that are not mature enough to have 100% guarantee that they're going to solve or that they're going to help us in the operation. So
mm,
it is quite a balance of risk for operation and supplier to trial it in a very friendly and collaborative way, because if it works, it's going to be fruitful for both
mm,
sides. So
mm,
I do
mm,
believe that as it is a new technology or a immature technology at that point, without that kind of partnership, we will not be successful in a short term.
mm,
Maybe we're going to
mm,
be successful in a medium to long term because you need to
mm,
convince more people, more
mm,
elements on the system.
mm,
So in the end, I do trust that if we can do it more strongly and integrated, it's going to be easier for everyone.
mm. Yep. No,
Yeah,
I think that's right. And the interoperability or the integration, in my personal experience, is the hardest part. You know,
yeah,
it's always, well, not always, but it is certainly easier to make things work in silos than to make things work across,
yeah,
the operation.
sure, sure.
Now, there are, so many opportunities for adoption of new technologies, even transformational technologies. And if you think of electrification, I know that you all have recently implemented your first scoop tram electrical loader. If you think of automation, if you think of the the now adoption of AI into mining technologies, now you are introducing a partner that you don't know that you can trust because you can't look them in the eye and say, "What did you do now?" Because it's a bot or something. In your thinking, um, is AI being introduced by technology vendors into your world? Is it a risk, or does the opportunity outstrip the risk?
Well, I think that I will call AI as the, if you can say, new tool. Besides, not that
Mm-hmm.
new. We know about it,
Yeah.
but the new famous or the new fancy tool that people are
Mm,
talking about, it's quite important to facilitate our decision or to integrate some knowledge.
mm.
Um, but we cannot just use it as a final recommendation because
All right.
they have criticism by the AI. So we should
Mm,
use as a tool. And currently at our operation, we are not using it to decisions. We are not strengthening that kind of opportunity at the full stream of the operation
mm,
because people are learning how to use it by themselves in their
mm,
homes and so on.
mm.
So we are not using AI as a key element to our industry at that moment, but looking
Right.
for integration for some, well, to try to merge some knowledge. Maybe it is a tool that we can start to use it in the future in the pathway that I told you about the
Yeah.
control tower. So at that moment we are not, but maybe in one point we will reach it. But it's,
Mm.
again, we do not believe as a final or the best solution ever. We believe as a potential tool to empower our decision.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. So it becomes one of the advisors in your
Yeah,
council.
yeah,
You know, yeah,
yeah.
that makes perfect sense. And you've got experienced people on your team that can validate the suggestions and validate the decisions and so on. So it becomes a team thing,
Yeah,
and AI is one of the contributors.
yeah. MP, one point that I sometimes I do have in my mind is that we as a technical we can do it by computer as a technic on a technical perspective. We can do
Mm,
simulators, we can do a lot of technical stuff on the computer to recommend us some ways, but the human being knowledge, the feeling that each one of the people has, the expertise on a long time of exposure had, it is not in the AI.
mm,
So the decision that we take in a daily basis or in a strategy view, sometimes they
mm,
merge the technical with the also with the expertise that we have.
mm, mm, mm.
So it's a balance between those two sides, and with the third, there is the behavior of the people, the how we treat each
Absolutely,
other.
right.
So
You know the
that is,
team. You know how this senior manager is going to respond and how that one does. You've got that context, which is not just an objective
yeah,
question answer approach to solving business problems.
yeah, that's it. So for me, again, this is a tool. AI is a tool, important tool
Mm,
and powerful tool, but
mm.
a tool for the technical side, not a tool for behavior, not a tool for technical or feeling expertise.
Wonderful. Felipe, we are fast running out of time, so I want to bring it back to two questions before we end. The first is about leadership, and the second is about you, just a little bit more personally. But leadership style. I recently spoke with one of the industry leaders here in South Africa, Bernard Swanepoel, who was CEO of Harmony, and so on. You may know him. And we talked about, is it harder to be a mining manager today than what it is, what it was, say, 20 years ago? And I want to pose that question to you. There seems to be a lot more demands put onto a mine today than just making grade and making the call. It is certainly, you've got environmental pressures, and you've got people pressures, and you've got profit pressures, and you've got all kinds of stakeholders that make a demand on your business. So I want to ask you this. Do you think mining is becoming uh, a more responsible corporate citizen? Is it better to work in a mine now than what it was 20 years ago? Or is it more or less the same, just the environment has changed?
No, no, I do 100% align that we currently talking as
Mm,
AGA. We are not operating a mine itself, just a
mhm,
mine. It starts with our purpose, that is develop people and society to mining to empower people and society. So
oh,
we are
that's
we want to
beautiful.
mine, but we must empower the people in and the people on the society around, and also being sustainable on it. So we are, is, as a manager, as a leadership at the company, we do not spend 90% in production of
Mm,
our time.
mm,
We spend time, strong, a lot of time in safety, in environmental, in legal aspects, in other stakeholders that we must support in some in development. So there is much more, if you can say, drivers currently as
mm,
industry than
mm,
in the past, because of many reasons. It's not that today
mm,
is right, the past is wrong, because the society and the politicians and the world is demanding change that is truly necessary to move.
mm, mm, mm,
So I understand that AGA, we are on that space. So we are moving a lot of strength and a lot of energy to make it in the best way as possible. So it's a
mm,
quite a
mm,
relevant investment and so on it. So in the end, it's totally aligned with that. It's not just mining. Mining is part
mm,
of the system currently,
mm, mm.
just
Now, it
part of.
lives in a community, and also to a large extent for the community. If it wants to be a good corporate citizen.
So we cannot mine without my communities around here.
Mm,
They are they are helping us with employees. They are helping us with knowledge. They are helping us in everything in the
mm,
system. So I personally use that full pack as minimal requirement for our operations. So we are looking
mm,
to do better and better to them every time.
mm. Yeah, that's great to hear. And so I want to turn from, you said you personally do this, so I want to end off our discussion with a bit of a personal question as well. And that
Yeah.
is just, you know, uh, what do you do when you are not a mine manager, when you are not VP operations there? What is it that keeps you going?
Yeah. Well, first, currently I have one son and one daughter,
Mm-hmm,
and my wife. So I really like to spend the time with them in free space.
mm-hmm,
I do not like traditional malls and so on. Besides, I go sometimes, but I do prefer outside activities with them. And for my mind's health, if I can say, I do running.
Ah,
Currently, 90% running, and every quarter I do have a challenge to do a ultra marathon around some place.
okay,
So I
wow.
have my training season every quarter to guarantee that I'll be able to reach one ultra marathon in mountain. So yeah, so it's quite beautiful when you are in the race, and but more than beautiful at the race, it's a healthy journey.
Mm,
It's a nutrition care that you take for a long time that you're gonna generate benefits for the future. So for me, currently, when I do not run in a day, it starts to be more hard. So I do run 5 times a week, and for example, today I didn't
yeah.
because it was raining too much, and then I decided to not go. But yeah, it's part of the life, and but I'm trying to keep my trainings in place. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great. I remember I also like running. I'm not as diligent as you are, but anyways, um, when I trained for my first marathon, I thought to myself, I always hear about these people saying that it gives you endorphins and it makes you feel so much better. When am I going to start feeling better now? But it does come. It does come, and you're right. After a while, it becomes a lifestyle, not another chore.
Yeah,
It's not an exercise. Yeah,
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 and when you have a discipline to have it and you can have it, doesn't matter where you are, it's good for your long term.
yeah.
Because if we just keeping having excuse every day, today is my wife's birthday, tomorrow is my birthday, another day is a party for my friend. Every day we're gonna have an excuse, you know.
Mm,
So
mm, mm.
the first thing that we cannot give up is our health.
Yeah, that sounds good. Felipe, thank you so much for the time that you spent with us. I really enjoyed the discussion, and all the best with the good work that you are doing uh, at the mine. I know that certainly they are lucky to have you. You're an inspirational leader as well, and I trust that all of the new work and technologies that you bring to your mine will also find its way into the rest of the industry, so that so many more people can benefit from it.
Oh, yeah. I thank you, MP, for the trust first, and I hope that we can keep talking later on. We still can learn each other for the long term, for sure. Thank you very much.